this panel. And Siobhan Ferguson is going to be the moderator. We have 4 individuals who are going to come up. Yes, they're coming up now. That are going to come up and they're going to share their different stories. And Siobhan is going to moderate that.
Thanks, Siobhan.
We are going to start off with some statistics first. Compared to their peers, kids who are bullied are 5 times more likely to be depressed. Bullied boys are 4 times more likely to be suicidal, and bullied girls are 8 times more likely to be suicidal.
Suicide is one of the top 3 causes of death among people ages 15 to 24.
Bullying is a community-wide issue, an issue that no longer can be ignored. It's an issue that we all need to start addressing. And we all have a role, students, parents, teachers, we all have a role in addressing bullying. But you students have been known to be extremely effective at addressing bullying. In fact, it is said that whenever a peer intervenes, bullying will most likely stop. There's a 55% rate of bullying ending when you, students, intervene. So we as adults need to give students, and continue to give students, tools to help them address bullying. But silence is no longer an option. And we all, students, teachers, adults, we all need to stop looking away. I'm going to introduce the panel. I'm going to introduce them one-on-one, and they're going to share their story. And I ask you to listen with an open heart and an open mind. So first up is Haley. This is Haley. She is 15 years old, a 9th grader at King George High School, and one day hopes to become a professional soccer player or author.
Hi guys, how y'all doing today? Okay, so my bullying story, it started when I was in 6th grade. There was a new girl that came to our school and she all of a sudden decided that she didn't like me. So she started calling me names like ugly, stupid, and it really hurt my feelings because I don't know why she was doing that, because I tried to be nice to her, but she just didn't want to be nice to me. And once we got into middle school, it escalated because she got a bigger group of people to start disliking me and calling me even worse names. And so I started to feel really like hopeless and worthless because I still didn't know why they were doing that, because it was for no apparent reason. And she even got people that I had previously been friends with to start not liking me and making fun of me and stuff. So it was really hard because I didn't have anybody to turn to, because she started taking my friends away one by one. And it's not as bad as it used to be because I went to my mom and the teachers and counselors and stuff and I got help. But I still, to this day, don't know why they don't like me, because they still pick on me from time to time, but it's not as bad as it used to be. So.
Okay, thank you. Another statistic, more than 43% of middle school and high school students avoid using high school bathrooms of the fear of being harassed or assaulted.
Up to 7% of 8th grade students stay at home at least once a month because of bullies.
Rihanna Morris is an 18-year-old advocate for mental health awareness, LGBTQ rights, and women's health and reproductive rights. They attend John Tyler Community College for English and Creative Writing. They are trained as a youth facilitator for NAMI and diversity training through RPAC, and also works with RoseMe in their Youth Engaged in Leadership program. Rihanna has faced a lot of adversity, not only as a queer person, but also as a person with severe mental illness.
Hi, so I guess the bullying started around middle school. This guy decided I was fat. He began calling me a whale. And when I retaliated, I was called a whore. In 9th grade, a young man decided that I was wearing too low cut of shirts. And so he began touching me in inappropriate places, until I finally stood up for myself and said, stop that, I don't like it. I think the worst part though was in high school, in 12th grade, when people found out I had slept with a young man and had seen me doing it. And I think the worst feeling was when I started getting called a whore. People would walk by. Whore! Stop! It got worse until people were openly saying it. When I came out as a lesbian and the whole school found out, people started asking me, oh, will you sleep with me and my girlfriend? Can I videotape you? Can I watch you? I don't understand why it happened. I don't understand what's wrong with that. But it's wrong. No one stood up for me, so I stood up for myself. Thank you.
Nine in 10 LGBT students reported being bullied in 2007.
About 61% of students in the LGBT community reported they had felt unsafe in school because of their sexual orientation.
This is Mac. Mac is gay, and he does a lot of advocating for queer rights with RPEC, RoseMe, and has been working through RPS to create a safe environment for queer people.
Well, I realized I was gay when I was in 6th grade, and so suspicion of that had always followed me, and it escalated to a point where everyone that was just the general assumption about me, and when I proved them right about the suspicions, it was like opening floodgates, basically. Like every single day, like walking past people in the hallway, like faggot, like that kind of thing. And like eventually, when I was still in 6th grade, I was pushed down the steps and called a faggot and kicked repeatedly because of no reason, basically. And so ever since then, it's been my mission to create a loving, like open environment for queer people in schools.
Okay. In 1994, a survey of 700 communities showed that 80% of respondents said that violence was a serious problem in classrooms, hallways, and playgrounds.
Children with disabilities are frequently targeted by bullies. Deaf and hard of hearing students experience bullying at rates 2 to 3 times higher than those reported by hearing students.
This is Jocelyn Saravia. Jocelyn is an artistic, caring soul who's in 7th grade taking advanced placement classes. She is deaf, Guatemalan, and Mexican, and speaks 3 languages fluently: American Sign Language, English, and Spanish.
Thank you, Mrs. Sevan.
And thank you everyone for this gracious opportunity to speak today. Deaf and dumb.
Your ears are broken.
Hearing impaired. Disabled.
Not abnormal.
Mute.
And she's just funny.
She talks funny. I have heard many people insult our deaf community, my deaf community, and I find it hurtful, these terrible comments. I know that people are ignorant about deaf culture, and I have an experience I'd like to speak of myself. Once, when I went to the babysitter's house, which is at my neighbor's, with their kids and my sister, there was another girl there. She called me ear invisible, said that I talked weird and that she didn't want to play with me. I was heartbroken and I told my mom about it. My mom said, "Don't worry, Jocelyn, you are a special person and I don't care what she says." That girl, she didn't understand me. She didn't care that I felt hurt and sad. but I was happy that my sister was there for me.
Taught you to raise your hands at school.
Our culture, our deaf culture, is cool too.
Deaf people are very special people.
And I sign through American Sign Language, which is also known as
Make
ASL.
friends with someone deaf. Sometimes they are fun. They do.
Thank you, Jocelyn. I'm now going to interview the panel, and I'm going to give the panelists a time to answer my questions. So my first question to the panel, while you were being bullied, what did you do that was helpful for you? I'm actually going to pass my mic.
Okay. So I found ignoring it doesn't necessarily always work. Sometimes it does, but when it escalates, like especially with the sexual harassment, when it escalated, I found just saying stop. I don't like that. I'm going to tell someone. You need to leave me alone. And saying it firmly and with a strong voice and making sure your body language shows it also. I found that really helped me even when no one else understood.
Yes, Jocelyn.
When I had myself it was helpful.
I try to help myself with bullying when it's possible.
I have full confidence and I know myself. I can in the prison that care about it.
I have full confidence in myself. I know that I'm smart. I know that I'm a good person. I know that I work hard. And I know that other adults at the school and that my family will be there for me. And there are many people that believe in me just like I believe in myself. And it's just something that I know. I know it.
It's awesome. Thank you. Matt, Haley, did you guys want to answer that?
I found that bullies are terrified of confidence. When you have confidence, you have everything against them. You just have to stand up and show that you are a person that is affected by this, and you have the ability to stop it yourself, and that shuts them right down.
When I was getting bullied, I know ignoring it doesn't always help, but for me it did. Sometimes if you show the bully that you don't care what they're doing, they'll stop because they won't feed off of your energy anymore.
Who supported you when you were being bullied?
Are we just gonna go in order that we did started? What is that? Okay. So I guess who really supported me was I had certain teachers that were very supportive that I could talk to. My parents definitely, even though I wasn't very open with them in the beginning, they found out quite a few years later about the bullying in middle school and sexual harassment when I actually had a first suicide attempt. I had certain friends who I would talk to, who I could actually trust, who didn't think I was a slut.
For me, it was the one older gay kid in my school. He came up to me and he was like, "Hey, I know you're being bothered about this, and I want you to know that I'm here for you. And I've been through all the same things you have, and I can help you in any way that you need." And that was amazing.
Many people, will say that
I did say that before, but many people, my interpreter has supported me, my family,
My teachers,
my
every
teachers.
teacher knows me. So
I mean, really, every teacher at the school knows
many
me.
teachers I know in my
And
school.
I've built trust, and I guess I have that reputation at my school.
Too. And my best friend, I can speak with them
And also, I have a best friend, and I feel like I can talk to them.
because my best friend has the same problem.
My best friend, has a lot of the same problems. She's deaf
That's what
too.
that's what
So I support her, and she supports me. So, we have an exchange of support there.
My mom was my biggest supporter. She would talk with me about it to make sure I was okay and help me through it. And I remember her going down to the school with me multiple times, talking to my teachers and trying to do something about it. So she was a big help.
I have 2 more questions that I'm going to open up to the audience. What are some things that you're doing or did that helped you heal?
So this is going to be a textbook answer with therapy. Lots and lots and lots of therapy. I'm going through DBT right now and just learning the skills from dialect behavioral therapy, which is a mixture of cognitive therapy, which is your average talking therapy, and then Zen, which is kind of part of the Buddhist and Hinduism culture. That really helps. I mean, especially learning mindfulness and saying, everyone has a bad day. And just because someone says something doesn't mean they're directly attacking me. Maybe they're dealing with something within themselves. And just remembering that and remembering that people have their own phobias and their own fears within themselves and their own self-hatred, and that's why they're doing stuff like that. It's simple, really, if you think about it like that.
For me, it was having the ability to fight back. When I got out of middle school, I went to a really inclusive, small, open place because my school's called open. So, and it gave me the ability to fight back, basically. I started a GSA. And yeah, it's a gay straight alliance where we think of ideas to become more inclusive within our school and how to sort of understand and empathize with it, I guess. And doing a lot of things like that, especially with Roseme and RPEC, and a lot of that has been able to help me to show people that I have my own story and that kind of thing. Yeah.
I know many ways,
I mean, I know many times in life there are people that put you down and insult you. They'll swear at you and be a bully and say bad things. But you have to hang with people you love, You have to be with a group of people that care about you. And if you stay with them, and if the bullies don't feel good about themselves, they will go away, and they will see that you have a group around you, and you just have to remain confident about yourself. And I know I've said that, but you just have to like yourself. You have to be able to stand up and tell people to say stop. And if you don't have confidence, then you really have to be around people that you trust so you can learn that, and also be around adults that you trust. And honestly, your family, you have to remember they love you, and you hope you have a family that you can go to that will make you feel better.
Like I said, I talked to my mom about it, but I also talked to my counselors at school. since they're used to helping kids deal with that kind of stuff, it was really helpful for me because they gave me tips on how to deal with it and not like take my anger out on people because of it.
Thank you. So I'm going to open the floor up for brief questions and brief answers. So audience, can you raise your hand? If you have a question, go ahead and raise your hand and I'll come to you. Does anybody have a question for the panelists? Okay. Panelists, do you have questions for the audience?
So with a raise of hands, how many of you are LGBTQ youth? You don't have to necessarily raise your hand if you don't want to, if you don't feel like you're ready to be out. But how many of you feel like you identify with the lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, or questioning and queer community? How many of you have been bullied because of it, whether by your parents, by your family, by your friends, by your peer group, or even by adults that are supposed to be trustworthy?
You mean like being LGBT or like just in general?
Either or.
In general.
How many of you feel different than the norm? How many of you like feeling different than the norm? I just see everybody's hands up for this one. Just know that it's okay to be different and that your individuality and your uniqueness is beautiful and makes you an awesome person. Never let anyone take that from you.
So I have a question, and anybody, if they have the answer, go ahead and raise your hand. What are some ways that we can do to help? You see bullying, how can you help?
I see that hand up there.
I think a good way, hi, my name's Malcolm. I think a good way to help would probably be, go up, not at first, go up and, talk to the person who's being bullied, but maybe if you see the person that was bullying, go up and talk to them and ask them, hey, what's wrong with that? What's up with that? Why are you doing that? They never did anything to you. And if it escalates, you gotta tell an administrator or a counselor or somebody, who can help out.
Good job.
How you can help people stop being bullied? You just stand up and speak out and tell an adult right away. Because that stress on that person from being bullied can grow and grow and grow, and you don't know what they can do.
Just be honest, say something. One voice, it doesn't really sound like it, but one voice does make a difference. Tell the person who's getting bullied that I see it, and whether you can stop it, relate to them. Make sure that they understand that they're not alone, that they're not by themselves. One voice does make a difference. Like telling somebody that they look nice, and that that their hair is cute, and that you see you see what they're doing, and you see the good in them. Because sometimes people get beat down and they don't understand, they don't think that people care, and they don't notice until it's too late. So if you see something, say something. Let it be known that you care. Because everybody wants to feel love. Everybody wants to know that they belong. No man is an island unto his own.
I see a hand over there, but I'm going to pass it to her first. I'll come over to you, okay?
Well, I kind of agree with everyone else, but if you see someone being bullied, confront the person bullying the other person. But if you don't have the guts to do that, go to the person being bullied and talk to them and be their friend, because everyone needs a friend and it makes you feel much better. And so, yeah.
Thank you. I saw a hand raised over here. Thank you.
if you don't really have, like she said, the guts to confront a person, I think just telling the person that's being bullied that they don't need to listen to that, they're a good person, just complimenting them, telling them something good about themselves. Because I know that if I'm having a bad day and I feel like everyone is putting me down, if one person, even just one person comes to me and tells me, Chesla, you look really nice today, it really makes me feel a lot better when all day long I've been feeling like crap. And just one person comes and compliments me and tells me that I'm looking nice. Just something small like that I think could really help someone. Wait over here.
So out of previous experience, I didn't really have anyone to lean on, including my family. I was actually pretty much the shy Asian girl of my school, so I didn't want to tell my parents because I didn't want them to be worried about me, so I tried to just handle it on my own. And one tip that I have for anyone that is getting bullied or knows someone that is bullied, have no fear. You only have one life to live, so live it to the fullest and don't hide. That's what I did.
So earlier I started off by saying that more than 55% of bullying stops when peers, students intervene, right? So you guys just gave some really great suggestions. Befriending those who are being bullied, talking to a counselor or a parent or an adult when it's just completely out of your hands is great. And adults, we need to start getting involved as well. So continuing to give students the tools. I'm going to ask you guys to do a call for solidarity. If you're willing to stand up for individuals who belong to the community, who are LGBTQ, belong to the deaf community, who belong to any community that's being marginalized or being bullied because of the way they talk or the way they look, I'm going to ask you today, right now, to just stand up, get up out of your chairs, and join us for this cause. Thank you. Can we give a round of applause for her?
Sandra? Well, thank you very much. All right, take a seat. Thank you. This was wonderful, being able to have the panel to represent and tell their story, how they've made it through, where they're moving to the next level, listening to the audience. It's a wonderful thing.